Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and here we have a best of 3 played between the red Protoss on the bottom left of Steps of War. He is ZNex G-Star, but is in fact better known as Nex Genius, the guy who won BlizzCon 2010. And his opponent is going to be I am NesTea, but actually I believe it was a typo. Should probably be I am NesTea, better known as Zerg, but actually pretty well known as NesTea now that he has won the GSL2 and collected over $85,000 US in prize money from that. And this best of 3 was played for the StarCraft 2 All Stars Invitational, broadcast by GOM TV, just like the other series that I cast, Tester vs. Nada, and Hungun Prime versus Fruit Dealer. This is also a round of 16 match, so these two players, both recent winners at giant tournaments, should actually be a really, really good series. Here we saw NesTea actually did an extractor trick there to conserve his larva and make sure that the timings and everything are exactly where he wants them. And NesTea, I'm going to probably screw up their name several times just because they both have NesTea, but anyway, Genius is actually just doing something very simple right now, pylon and then gateway, so assimilator should be the next thing that he builds. But his name is ZNex G-Star here. I imagine what happened is, since name changes cost money, they might have just bought a new account and just called it ZNex G-Star so that various people can play on it, and G-Star actually refers to GOM All Stars. G-Star is kind of what the nickname for the tournament was. So NesTea going to be getting a gas after spawning pool here. Not too out of the ordinary. That's a common build for a Roach Warren, but notice that he has not dropped a natural hatchery just yet. He is at 15 drones and climbing and still does not have a hatch going down. So Genius sees all this going on. He's going to start zapping a drone, trying to get a kill here, but NesTea flips the tables on him, tries to kill him off himself. He actually probably could have got that drone kill before being forced to run away. Anyway, back at his main, nothing interesting really going on here, just doing the very standard Protoss build, now throwing down a second gateway instead of a cybernetics core. Okay, so that is pretty interesting. Looks like he's going to be going for a much more unit-driven build than the typical Protoss, very standard play. He does have one gas up already, probably not going to be getting a second gas, probably going to just be making Zealots and Stalkers for the beginning of this game, maybe a couple of sentries added in. He's probably going to wait and see and gauge how many units NesTea actually builds before he commits to one unit or the other. But NesTea right now is getting that Roach Warren up, so that is pretty much coming as expected here against these two gates of Genius. Still sticking to one gas. We'll see who can actually micro better and end up taking this first game here on Steps of War. It looks like right now NesTea is keeping up with this 2-gate units wise, but he does know about the two gateways actually being chrono boosted, stalkers coming out of each one now, and a second gas is coming up. Warp gate tech is being researched, and some Zerglings are trying to score a probe kill there. They do get it, so NesTea gets a tiny little gift from Mr. Nex Genius. He has not thrown up a second gas of his own and still has not expanded over at his natural, so I'm not sure if he even has plans to do that or if he's just going to continue this one-base roach play for a while. Here we see 6 roaches are being produced right now as Genius sends over his first 2 stalkers to see what he can try to kill off here at NesTea's main. This is quite a lot of Zerglings. Despite not having speed, it is going to finish here in just a moment, so these Zerglings should be able to surround and kill these Stalkers, or at least slow them down long enough for the Roaches to come in. There goes the first Stalker, the second one getting very low health now, also surrounded and killed. NesTea is going to take his momentum and go all the way to Genius's front here. He's only got a handful of Speedlings left, but he does have these 5 Roaches coming as well. Right now there's only a single Zealot holding this line and a pylon. All these Stalkers get a few free shots, so we'll see what NesTea actually chooses to attack first. He does go for that Zealot, so the hole is opened and quickly closed again by Genius, dropping this other pylon here. A force field goes down, predicting that this pylon would also be destroyed, and he builds yet another pylon there just to continue that wall off after this force field goes down. So Genius actually doing a very good defense there. He already has a forge up. Wow, didn't even notice that go down. So cannons also going to be there to help reinforce this ramp here as NesTea looks like he has had enough and is not going to be trying to continue this. He did drop a hatchery during that encounter, so he will be trying to keep up economically here with Genius, despite being 9 workers down. Look at the income tab. We should see a large minerals advantage here for NesTea. I mean, for Next Genius, sorry. And actually gas. It looks like NesTea actually pulled all his workers off of gas just to start creating lots of drones, queens, lings, overlords. He's only, actually, he does have gas coming in, so I'm not sure what that was about. He must have just put those back on there. He switched them to minerals for the time of the push so that he could crank out some Zerglings, but he never got up the ramp anyway, so now he does have to head home and basically wait, try and make a tech decision. He hasn't gone for a lair yet. He might want to actually drop that second gas so he can open up his tech options. Genius, on the other hand, still pinned into his one base, but he is going up to 4 gateways now and also getting +1 weapons for his tier 1 units. That can actually be quite devastating against these tier 1 Zerg units, and here we see NesTea is actually going to be dropping 2 spine crawlers here at his natural. He fears the worst from these tier 1 units of Genius, and probably for good reason. Oh, what just happened there? He killed that pylon? I don't see how that's possible. Oh, Genius actually killed his own pylon to open up his ramp a little bit, and then just slides his units up there into hold position to keep those lings from getting in. Interesting. So, Genius, I could swear I was on busy. I was not. Genius actually pushing out of his base now and warping in down here from this high ground pylon. Moving across the map now with 5 stalkers. He's going to be able to score a quick overlord kill here. NesTea probably not going to be a big fan of that, as it does push him into the red. He's now 52 over 44. Going to have to make another overlord. It's not going to be here for another 10 or 15 seconds, so that's actually really key timing here for Genius as he's pushing out. Drops a pylon behind the visibility blocker here on the way to NesTea's base. NesTea, on the other hand, has about 11 roaches and a handful of lings ready to defend against this. He's also got a queen here. Not enough energy for transfuses, but he does have 2 spine crawlers here as well. We'll see if Genius has enough units to actually take this game. He's got 67 against 66 of NesTea. The worker count should be pretty even by now. No, actually, Genius actually has 10 more workers still. So Genius's army should actually be a little bit smaller than NesTea's, but he does have that pylon there to warp things in. He drops a force field here on the ramp to keep these lings shut out, but the majority of NesTea's army just backs up to his natural. Nothing really got cut off there and killed, so the force fields actually could have severed that army and scored some kills. Now, this time it looks like that is exactly what he's going for. Pins a lot of roaches right here. All these stalkers able to take those out pretty quickly, so NesTea going to a quick disadvantage. He's also going to lose this roach on the far left. Genius evening up the army count a little bit, is now 68 against 59. Another roach goes down very quickly there. Genius getting a little bit more advantage. Zealots moving in now to help take out these spine crawlers. I like Genius's concave here with all these stalkers. That's quite nice for him. Lots of lings and roaches being produced for NesTea. He's forced to stop droning, although Genius isn't doing anything. He's just totally focusing on warp and cooldowns, bringing in more zealots now to deal with the lings. The stalkers count is still actually pretty high, so he will be able to deal with these roaches with the stalkers, doing extra damage to armored units. The queen actually gets involved here and almost goes down. Yes, he only had 10 health there. Did actually end up popping. Another overlord goes down for NesTea. He does have more than enough overlords in the sky right now to support his army, but if he keeps losing these roaches, Genius will just continue in and probably be able to take out this natural hatchery. Here he just warps in another round of stalkers. He's got 12 stalkers and several zealots against only about 8 roaches and a handful of lings. I'm not sure who will actually win this battle. Genius trying to micro back, do a little stutter step action to get rid of these Zerglings. He does have 2 pylons down here now to help with warp-ins, and if you look at the production tab, roaches and lings still being built constantly by NesTea, but he did lose that queen at his natural, so it's going to slow him down a bit. Spinecrawler pulls up and moves forward a little bit, but I'm not sure how effective it's going to be. He does score a kill right there, but there's still just a lot of stalkers here against a pretty thin number of roaches here for NesTea, but NesTea is starting to push back a little bit, killing off a couple of units there, but forced to retreat back yet again. He doesn't want to battle this head on or try to kill this pylon off, and now Genius warps in yet another round of stalkers. He's sitting at 10 stalkers against only 7 roaches. I have to give the advantage to the stalkers, especially with that +1 upgrade against 0/0 roaches. Stalker's doing 15 damage a shot. with those little flying laser beams, going to be able to kill off Zerglings very quickly, and just keep dancing around until he's got enough units to eventually overwhelm NesTea. Queen is about to pop out here again to assist with Larva Injects, but this Spinecrawler only has 6 health left. One more little laser shot will kill that off. NesTea actually has to pull drones here, and those are starting to be killed off. That Queen has arrived. He did a Larva Inject before coming down here, but I think his life is going to be in danger here soon. He's only at 15 health, and just constant units coming in. He hasn't built a single probe this entire time, only focusing on those warp gate cooldowns, probably spending all his chrono boost on them as well, trying to just win the battle right here. He's not even expanding, he's just trying to win here with thins Stalker and Zealot warp-ins. He wants to prevent NesTea from mining at this natural expansion, and he does warp in another round of Zealots. Whatever he can afford is what he's going to be warping in. Notice his gas is piled up to about 800, and now NesTea with hardly any units here at all. I'm going to pull up the units tab for the remainder of this game here. 7 Stalkers and 5 Zealots against only 5 Lings and a Queen. All the drones being pulled, almost all of the drones being pulled as the 2 Roaches pop out. But it looks like Genius is going to have more than enough units to deal with this. Check out the worker count. It's now 35 to 12. So even if Genius does get held off here, which is not likely, he will have a huge advantage in the worker count. So NesTea finally throws in the towel, calls GG, and Genius is going to be our winner for Game 1. Let's move into Game 2 and see if NesTea/Zergbong will be able to claw his way back with his little Zerg teeth and claws and try to force a Game 3. If he doesn't, Genius will advance to the round of 8 instead. So let's go see what happens in Game 2.